Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast, where I empower you to develop sustainable habits, challenge society, and take messy action. I'm Christine, life balance coach and world champion ballroom dancer, and I believe that everyone has the power to create their very own life by design. The Recovering Perfectionist Podcast was created with a mission to encourage a life of abundance by finding peace and acceptance in our own imperfections and developing healthy self-love through sustainable habits and manifestation. It's time to align with the universe for the full human experience and redefine what it really means to be successful.
It's too good, the secret is out and wow.
Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast. I am here with my very good friend and fellow coach, Maggie Tatum. Second time on the podcast for a very important reason, because we are talking all things Freedom Mindset Academy. And if you're not sure what we're talking about, I can tell you that you're definitely in for a special treat today, and you're in the right place at the right time. We are discussing exactly what Freedom Mindset Academy is, where it takes place, when it starts, and how it's going to transform your life. Maggie, this is freaking happening.
I know. I'm so excited. The last time that we were together was like just the spark that we needed, and just created this beautiful thing. And I can't wait to share it with everyone.
Yeah, this has been, we've been working in the shadows on this one for a little bit here. A few months, and we've just been brainstorming and we realized we had a lot in common of how we help clients, but we also realized that there's a balancing act going on with what we teach them. And so to be able to join together to create this like superpower of a course is going to just transform people's lives in a whole different way that we never imagined possible.
100%. And I think like the evidence of that, like, even every time we get off the phone with each other, they're just, I feel invigorated. I have so much energy just because of what we're each bringing. And like, right, there is a lot of overlap in how we coach our clients and how we serve them, but we also have our own unique life experiences and practices that create like a holistic program that is just going to be super life-changing.
Totally agree. So I say, let's get kind of into some of the questions. We did reach out to our communities and asked, some kind of market research questions of people who were interested already in this course and what they wanted to know. And I think this is going to be a very beneficial episode for those who are looking for answers, who are trying to get out of this hustle culture, but still want to be successful. And then of course, those who are trying to, build healthy habits, but also heal themselves from past traumas, all of these things that have happened in life. Also, all of the things that are happening to everyone right now with this pandemic, like all of this self-love, healing, worthiness, self-doubt, all of this stuff that Maggie works on is gonna change you. And all these techniques. So we're going to start with how long it is. Maggie, you want to go ahead and tell us how long the course is?
Yeah, so it's going to be a 12-week course. And we have divided up the course into weekly segments where we'll be teaching on specific topics and giving lots of value and deep dives into specific areas. And we'll be alternating back and forth between what we're teaching. And it's just meant to basically take you from start to finish, from where you are now to exactly where you want to be, and give you the tools that you need to radically change your life and your habits and the way that you make choices for yourself.
So much. Yes. On top of that, we will be doing a private Facebook group along with this course that you'll be encouraged to join so that you can participate in our weekly live Q&As. And what we've planned on doing so far is we might do, we'll do 1 week, one day we'll have a Q&A, and then we'll be posting, since we specialize in different things, which we're going to get into, we'll be able to kind of help you guys through this process so that you can ask questions, during the Q&As, if you're getting stuck on the course, because it is a work at your own pace kind of thing, but we do want you to keep up. And that's why we want to be there as a community support, as well as other people going through the course with you, to be able to have that support from your peers. And you can ask each other questions, and then we can pop in there and we can answer them for you as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this too, because oftentimes with courses, you're not given access to the people who created them. And as you know, as I know, somebody who has created and been through coursework, as you're doing the work, things arise, and we all have questions, and that's how we dive deeper into our practice. And so being able to create a weekly space where you can come with your questions no matter where you are in the coursework not only serves you in getting those answers, but serves the whole community and being able to hear what you're grappling with, and potentially spark something in them too. So I think, especially with a lot of online courses where it seems like you're just doing it and, you're kind of alone, it's great to have this community where you can share in the work together and grow together.
Totally agree. Yeah. We are going to discuss a little bit about what we specialize in, because I know some people are like, well, what's in this course? What do you mean? What's happening? We've gotten a lot of questions about that. So Maggie and I are both certified life coaches, and we specialize in specific things. So I am a life balance coach, and I specialize in sustainable habit building and helping perfectionists heal. I work a lot with women entrepreneurs who are perfectionists, or people who are perfectionists in general. And we kind of rip apart their schedule that is controlling their life because they're in this survival mode, trying to avoid burnout. And we give them back their life and their time so that they can actually live intentionally and create better habits that are sustainable, that are not just New Year's resolutions. I'm going to try to go on a run every morning, and then by February, they're not doing that anymore, right? So we actually intentionally put things in place so that they can't go back to these old unhealthy patterns that got them there in the first place. And they actually see the benefit, whether it's more time with their family, being happier, being healthier, not having headaches, not going to sleep so late. I've had clients that I've worked with that now they're like, I could never go back to that life. Like, I don't even know how I survived in that life. And I'm like, exactly. So that is what I specialize in. And then, like I said, I work a lot with perfectionists who are just trying to do it all, or they don't even put out moves sometimes because they have this whole analysis paralysis, and they are just trying to figure out how to keep up with the rest of the world.
Yeah. And that's how our paths crossed, right? Was through perfectionism. So I'm a perfectionist, and that is something that I work on with my clients as well. And, any sort of transformation work has to do with habit building, right? Because you are transforming, like, so much of our lives are spent in habitual behaviors, emotions, thought patterns. And so it's hard to create transformation without addressing our habits. And so that's definitely a focus of my work as well. But I am, I'm even excited about learning from you even more in this area, because I'm always looking to improve myself. And so that's the focus of my work, is in guiding women specifically to know themselves in a society that has taught us not to trust ourselves, taught us to abandon ourselves, taught us to cut pieces of ourselves off in order to seek love and belonging. It is my mission to bring women back to their wholeness. We often believe that, there are things outside of us that are going to complete us, whether it's a partner or a job or a promotion or a certain number in the bank account. And the truth is that we are not incomplete. We did not come here incomplete. We came here as whole beings, but there are parts of us that we've denied in order to fit in our effort to seek belonging. And we've cut these pieces of ourselves out and suppressed them so that we do feel like there are pieces of us that are missing. And the work that I do is deep emotional work to examine these triggers, examine these traumas, and really become a partner with your emotions rather than at odds with it, so that we can begin to incorporate these pieces that we've denied love, these pieces that we thought made us unlovable, incorporate them back into our whole, loving ourselves, knowing that we are worthy. Because here's another thing, and this is what we talked about before. If you don't believe that you're worthy of having a successful life, of having a nourishing relationship, of having a healthy body, you're not going to, it doesn't matter how many strategies you have, you're not going to be able to keep up your habits to achieve that. And so this is why I just got chills, like why I think our is so powerful.
I was going to mention the same thing that you were about to say, like it goes so tandem. It's crazy.
Right. You can't have one with that's why so many people don't experience success, is because there's this identity piece that so many of us carry is I'm not worthy of these things, or I have to do XYZ to be worthy. So this hustle for it. And that's a lot of the unlearning that I work with my clients. And so my goal for them holistically is for them to be able to choose themselves, to stop looking at what they should be doing, choose themselves, and erect these like magnificent lives that they love living. And, you know, all of that has to do with loving yourself and finding yourself worthy first.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I was literally about to say the same thing about how they work so well in, you know, parallel with each other. And which is why we decided to do this. We were putting the coursework together. We were literally like, oh, and this would be perfect after this. And this would be perfect after this, because I work with clients who are constantly, you know, why did they get into this crazy hectic schedule in the first place? Because they're trying to please the world. They're trying to please their family. They're trying to please themselves. And they feel like they're never going to be good enough. And once they get this achievement, they're, you know, we got to work towards the next thing. So there's this identity, self-love healing that isn't happening. And we work through that on a minor level, but I am so excited again to learn from you as well, because that's something that coming from my, you know, high performance athletic field, we don't learn that. We just don't learn how to love ourselves in a way that is allowing us to move through our sport in a healthy way. We're just like, go, go, go. And then on top of that, your clients that you help with all this healing and worthiness and, you know, internal transformation, now they need goals and they need to structure their life in a way that allows them to move forward towards something that they're excited about. And that's kind of where all, like you said, that habit building comes in. So it's just going to be such a really nice, back and forth. And I expect people at the end of this, we both do, to come out with so many life tools that we never learned in school. We never learned from our parents because they didn't have the information, not because they didn't share it with us. and just, you know, things that people are walking zombies through the world trying to figure out, how do I move forward? And we've spent a lot of money, both of us, on coaches for ourselves to be able to get out of this zombie state, and to be able to create this course with all of the information in one place. I think that's the most important thing for people to know.
Yeah. I mean, this is and I like, you know, I'm super organized. I have like in my notes, just every single thing that I have read, every single course that I have taken. I mean, honestly, like I'm surprised it hasn't broken my computer, because it's thousands and thousands and thousands of words, all organized by category, everything that I've studied in the past 10 years, you know, in this like amazing place. And just being through that and find all the gems from all of these like incredible healers and brain scientists and, you know, emotional experts, like, and to be able to bring all this together in a condensed package that's like 12 weeks long. It's just,
well, that's the thing. It's an absorbable way to receive this content, because all of the stuff that Maggie and I have done throughout our, you know, our training and self, you know, healing and growth is a lot. It's a lot for anybody, you know, and it's a continual process. But what we want to do is we want to get you started And we want you to go through a transformation in a way that all of this content isn't coming at you at once in a way that doesn't feel possible, that you feel more overwhelmed. So we're trying to give it to you in a way with the community support that allows you to go through it a little bit at a time and go through this process. And that's why 12 weeks, I mean, that seems short actually for some people in a growth process. That's a lot to pack in, but it is still a nice amount of time to be able to go through this process. And honestly, some of the courses I've been through in my coaching as a student, I've done the course multiple times because then I become a different version of myself. And I'm like, you know what? I need to touch back on that. And that's the thing is a big part of this is you will have lifetime access to this course and to this community. So more people are going to join the community, more people are going to start the course from scratch. You may have gone through the 12 weeks already. And maybe in a few months, you start living your life, building your things, doing all the stuff. And then maybe you need to come back into the group a little bit because you need to kind of refocus. Things are changing in your life and maybe not start the whole course again, but you have access to go back to week 6 and specifically work on something that maybe is, a pain point in your life at that moment. So the lifetime access is huge. And I think that is the game changer to be able to say it's not just a one and done,
Yeah. And plus, as I know we're constantly in our learning, constantly in our exploring and deepening. I fully anticipate to be adding little gems into the content as, I grow and expand and
very good point.
With that lifetime access comes whatever else, comes through us
right.
during our lives.
Yeah. Real life updates and changes and, extra content that might help you with different things as we grow. Mm-hmm. Love that. Great addition. When does it start? That's what I've gotten a few of those questions as well. So let's see, when does it start? Okay. So we are doing kind of a soft launch, what we're doing right now. We are building, a few weeks out at the moment. And we are planning on really fully launching this course November 1st. That's the plan. And I don't see why we would defer from that plan. What we're doing at the moment is really getting people excited about it. We've already opened up the wait list, which I can tell you is already up and running, and lots of people have already joined. So I will put the wait list link in the show notes. So if anyone is interested right now, if you're even a little bit interested, this is what I tell people all the time. Maggie and I offer free clarity calls as one-on-one coaches for all clients and all people who are not our clients. That's the idea. And I tell them, I said, if you're even 1% interested, it's a free call for 30 minutes to see if you can find some answers in your life and we can help guide you there. And if we're not the right coach for you, that's okay. I always encourage people to take it. So this wait list is exactly the same thing as our clarity calls. If you're even 1% interested and you feel like any of this work would help you move forward in your life, which honestly, we're not being biased here. We both think that everybody needs this work. Put yourself on the wait list. We'll send out an email once, it's time to register. And then you can decide at that point if the universe is calling you to it, but definitely put yourself on this wait list so that when things are going to start moving and grooving.
Yeah. And even I was just thinking about those clarity calls. I got a message from someone who didn't end up being a client, but who I gave a clarity call to several months ago. But I just got a message from her and she was like, after our call together, it changed the trajectory of the next several months of my life. She was like, I did this, and I gave myself the rest that I needed, the permission that I needed, which gave me the clarity that I needed to do all of these things. And I was like, wow. Holy shit. Just from a quick 30-minute call, because we're so deep in this work, the value that we can offer in such a short amount of time really is great. So like she said, if you are even a little bit interested, you owe it to yourself to explore this container in this space and to see what it has available for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what we want to encourage people, especially during this transformation, is teaching you how to invest in yourself, and whatever that looks like for you, whether it's time, because for me it was time, because I wouldn't give myself the time. I would always be working on other people's client work, other people's work, family things, and I wouldn't give myself the time. Money. Some people will not spend money on themselves. But they'll easily give $500 to $1,000 to, their brother because their car broke down or whatever it may be. And emotionally invest in yourself. These are all three very important things that society does not teach us how to do. And it's just now starting to break the surface in social media land and all of these things of like, oh, mental health awareness and all of these things. We're here to tell you that it's not supposed to just be breaking the surface. This is stuff that it needs to be from birth, what you're learning as you grow up and go through these transitions of your life, so that you can come out and be a healthy adult and not just be #adulting and wishing you weren't. You know what I mean? So I want to talk a little bit about, because we've mentioned a lot about serving women, and we've discussed how this course can serve men as well. This is a universal curriculum that is not specifically touching on men or women. It is just a human behavior. We all go through a lot of these things. However, because Maggie and I work a lot specifically with women, I know we wanted to touch a little bit on just, it is harder to be a woman in the world. We go through a lot more things with pregnancies and periods and all of these things and hormonal things, which is what Maggie works a lot with on the emotional side, and traumas and things like that a lot of men don't go through. So the curriculum itself is, unisex, but I know, Maggie, you wanted to mention something about your work with women.
Yeah. So what I've been finding really powerful lately is working. So men have the same hormonal cycle every single day. So they start with higher levels of testosterone in the morning and they dip by the evening, and that repeats every single day. And our society revolves around that cycle. So really, active in the morning and socializing in the afternoon and cocooning at night. So our society is like built around this male hormonal cycle. And I find that a lot of the women that I work with, including myself, and this is like, big perfectionism here, struggle to accept the fact that they don't show up as the same person every single day, and that they think that there's something wrong with them, that they're not good enough, that they're not worthy because they're not showing up in the same way every single day. And so our hormonal cycle is 28 days to 33 days long. It's an infradian rhythm. And we have more energy at the beginning of our cycle and then less energy at the end. And it's natural. And this changes how we show up on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really important for me, from the self-love, self-worth piece, to include this for women specifically, because it is a reminder that it's not a failure of your, of you, because you can't show up in the same exact way every single day of the month. And it's not a failure of biology. It's not a failure at all.
It's actually how biology works, and there should not be shame around it.
Right. And that's the thing. It's the shame piece that's ties so directly in with worthiness and with self-love, because we deny ourselves love when we are feeling shame for how, for who we are. And so that's why it's, and it's a small component of the coursework, but it is really important, because I found it allows me to meet myself with compassion. It allows my clients to plan their months more successfully, so that they're not planning a launch when they have no energy at the end of the month. They're not working against themselves and their own natural rhythms. They're working in tandem with it. And I found that this develops self-trust, self-love, self-worth. So that is a little component that I'm, working into the coursework for women specifically.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the compassion element behind that is what is a beautiful crossover to what I do. I was actually helping another coach he was discussing perfectionism, and he's not a perfectionist. He very much owns that. And he said, but I think I lost a client because I wasn't able to help him. And I need to understand what perfectionists, kind of think. So I did a whole session with him on inside the mind of a perfectionist. So yeah, he was talking about just what do I encourage my clients? Because with his clients, what he's always encouraging is he's pushing them. He's like holding them accountable, right? That's the biggest thing that coaches do, is they hold them accountable and make sure, well, why didn't you do this? Right? I'm here to be your guide. And I said, I do the opposite with my clients. My clients need to give themselves grace. That is, and he said, that's so crazy. That blew his mind to hear that. He's like, wow, so your approach with them is so different. I said, oh yeah, they're the ones that are holding themselves accountable. And they'll tell me at the start of a session that it was kind of a mixed bag, and, during the week, and, things didn't happen. And then they tell me that they got all the homework things done that I gave them. They got all their things done. And this one little thing was the thing that they didn't get done. And I'm like, okay. So then what I do is I speak it back to them. And they're like, oh, wow, well, you say it. It sounds like I did a lot. And I'm like, you did do a lot. Mm-hmm. And so this common phrase of progress over perfection is what I constantly preach. And also just giving yourself grace. And when I hear my clients say, well, I didn't do this, but I'm giving myself grace on that because I really needed a day off. And I'm like, that's when I know I'm getting through to them. And that's when we're, really that habit, like, again, it goes into that emotional side of just allowing yourself to have self-care days, to really invest in yourself and not feel like you always have to be achieving and producing. Like that's not, and going hand in hand with what you just said about our cycles, especially as women, that is not normal to constantly feel like you have to always be on and producing. And I can tell you from someone who comes from a field where I always had to be on, just like Simone Biles in the Olympics, sometimes we're just not. Mm-hmm. And we need to understand for ourselves how to not take advantage of ourselves and always feel like we have to be pushing, because how we treat ourselves is how we're giving everyone else permission to treat us. Exactly right. And I think too, as you're saying, like grace, this word just like is water on me. It feels so permissive and healing, and like grace and self-love are the antidotes to burnout. They are like, what gets us cyclical. Like this is why we burn out too, is this constantly feeling the pressure in order to strive for our worthiness of constantly being on. And if, I know as we were talking to people interested in this course, like burnout was one of the things that kept coming up over and over again, and just exhaustion, no motivation, and lack of feeling excited and inspired by things. And that's all a result of this needing to be on all the time and not giving grace and compassion to care for ourselves. Yeah. And we both work with, clients who are constantly on the brink of burnout, avoiding it, or have already passed the threshold and now they're trying to recover. And we're really trying to unsubscribe from this, what they call the hustle culture, all the time, to always be on. It's just, we've discovered in our own personal growth and with our clients' growth, that is just that's not the way to live. And to clarify for those who are like me, if I were listening to this, I want to always be achieving, and I want to be, creating generational wealth, and I want to be, a power couple with my husband and be, creating all this success and all this stuff. I still do that, but I do that in a way that allows me to live in the house that I'm building at the same time. Right? Because you cannot, we are constantly, I discovered that was what I was doing, is I was so busy building the house and refurnishing it and redoing it, and I was never living in it. And now I've come to the place where I'm like, listen, what is the point of building for years on end and never actually enjoying what I'm building? never taking a day off, never doing, all this stuff. And my husband, he comes across multiple, 7-figure earners and, millionaires and billionaires in his business. And they always tell him, I never missed a day to play tennis. I never did, I never sacrificed, Sundays with my family. Yeah, there were sacrifices along the way. Maybe there was a couple things here and there, but he said there were certain things I never sacrificed and I still became very successful. And when we talk to people like that on that level of success, that's when I know that this works.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, if you are taking care of yourself and living in alignment, you're not going to burn out.
No.
And if isn't working sustainably in the long run, generating more success,
right,
and more, like, even if we're using productivity as a measurement, which I don't always love to do, just because of how society uses it. But
of course,
working sustainably, continually, is always better than working crunched and then burning out and having to take 2 or 3 weeks off, or a month, or however long, depending on how long you've been crunching it,
Right.
So it's always like working sustainably. It's the tortoise and the hare,
Oh,
like
totally.
consistency, sustained work is always better than sprinting your whole life.
Totally. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I want to touch a little bit just while we wrap up here on the cost, because I know a lot of people have been asking us about that, and I want to make sure that everybody understands how this is going to go. Basically, what we've decided to do is everyone who's going to be joining the wait list, we're going to be sending out an email somewhere around the middle of October to allow you guys to pre-register. And the pre-registration is going to be $33. Yes, I'm going to say it again because I think some people don't hear me. It's going to be $33 just to pre-register and get yourself in to this first set of people. That is a deposit that holds your spot in this course. That will then be applied to the final total, right? That's not just an extra deposit, is actually going to go towards your final total. So what will end up happening is you can do the full total, which is going to be $999, or you can do it into 3 payments. And the 3 payments will be 322 monthly payments. We have both, like I said, I don't know about you, Maggie, I don't know your final total, but I've spent upwards of 15 grand on myself, even just in the last couple of years. So I won't even add all the extra, but of coaching, I've worked with coaches one-on-one that I paid 5 grand to. I've worked on courses. I've been a part of certifications, coaches, all these kinds of things. I don't regret a single penny I've spent on any of them. And I had a coach that I wasn't really too fond of at the end of it and finished her course and all of that stuff, but I still learned what I needed to learn from her. I was just outgrowing very quickly. I don't regret any of the pennies I spent on her. And so what I want you to know is investing in yourself financially is something very difficult to do, but money needs to be in circulation. And when you put out, especially when you invest in yourself, you always get that back because you are investing in your own personal growth. Investing in a car, investing in a house, all these different things, those can go many different scenarios. But every time you invest in yourself, I have never met anyone that said, I spent X number of dollars on a coach or this or that or whatever, and it didn't pan out when it was the right fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about, it's like with coaching and with so many programs that I've taken, it's even hard to put a dollar amount on it because of the transformation that it has elicited in me. And it goes so far beyond the actual time that you are doing the coursework or in the coaching container, because the sparks, the seeds that are planted then grow and you nourish them as you continue to do the work. And, at this point, I look back sometimes like last week and I'm like, I don't even recognize that person that I was anymore because of how quickly I'm changing and evolving. And that is all a testament to the work that I'm doing and to the coaches that I work with and continue to work with.
It's truly the gift that keeps on giving.
Seriously. It's like, and I know we settled on this price point because we heard, whoo, that's really steep for me. And then we heard from some people, oh my God, it's only $9.99. So we heard from both ends, so we found this little middle point. And, as somebody who struggled to make ends meet for a long time, I will say yeah, it's a big investment to make. And when I was making the least amount of money in my life, I somehow managed to scrap enough money together to be paying $555 a month for a coach. I asked who I needed to ask. I added extra hours. I stopped spending money on going out and partying. I made it work because it was that important to me, because I had gotten to a point where I was I can't do this alone anymore. And so making the adjustments in my life to make it happen were worth it to me. And so I do want to say that because I know that the money can be scary, and if you want it, you can find it.
Oh, totally.
And we'll also if that's something that's causing you hangups, that's something we get to talk about on our call as well. How can we source this, this abundance so that you can't get rolled? So I like to share that because I want this to feel accessible, and it should feel a little bit stretchy. It should feel like an investment, but it should also be accessible, right? And you get to stretch yourself mentally and realize what you're actually paying for. You're not paying for a 12-week course, you're paying for transformation.
That part. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. The coursework is just the curriculum. Us on the live calls, that's extra support. Also the community support, the courses that I've been a part of. I have girlfriends that I am still extremely close with that we went through this transformation together. It's kind of like, how they say when you do a show together or something, it's nobody else knows what we went through. This is our thing. That the lifelong friendships you create through this within the community, that's priceless. I mean, like you said, it's not just the course. It's so much more than that keeps giving and giving and giving as you go through your life. This is the jumping off point. And it's just like when you're standing on the diving board and you're up really high and you're really scared, the minute you jump, everything else is going to, give with that, because you are now giving yourself permission to receive all these blessings that the universe has been waiting to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so you just have to take that leap, whatever that leap is for you. If the money's not the problem and it's the emotional leap, then take the emotional leap. If the emotional leap is not the problem, and it's I don't have time to do this, find the time. Like what Maggie said, you need to rearrange your schedule. And if that means, less partying, less work, for me, it was moving around, not taking on some client work because I needed to focus on me. And that was a hard part. That was harder for me than the money. I was oh, the money's fine, I can figure that out. It was the time for me. I was I'm going to commit to this and I'm not going to be able to follow through with it. And I had to hold myself accountable and say, no, I need this transformation. And this is going to be my day off to focus on this. So whatever it is, the hang up that you're having, that's what we need to work through. And that's what this transformation is going to help you do, so that you don't have that hang up in the future when you're trying to do something with your business or with your life partner or whatever it may be, for yourself, because this carries over. Absolutely.
Exactly. And this is the work in choosing yourself, of prioritizing your wellness, because taking care of yourself, it impacts every single relationship and encounter that you have.
Yeah.
It is universal, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have the power to choose. Don't forget that. I read that from Greg McKeown in Essentialism. We all are given the power to choose. And if we do not choose what we want to do and how we want to invest in ourselves, then other people in the world around us will be choosing for us. And I thought to myself, oh, no, that's not happening. I have control over my life. And I did not. It was very much being run by everything else around me that needed my skills, my attention, my, my support. And I wasn't supporting myself. And so once you start to flip that switch, when I tell you flipping the switch is the hardest part, but once you do that and you see yourself on the other side and see what's possible and how you can live a more, like what Maggie said, sustainable life, because that's my word too. I love that word. You won't go back, because there's no going back after that, because you've seen a better life.
I mean, I can tell you on the other side, I have gotten like sober. I got off all my medications. I've I am transformed so greatly, and there's not a single piece of me that can be shoved back into the bag. It's
oh my gosh, that's so great.
Like there's no turning back, because it feels so good.
Yeah.
It
feels so good
over here.
Yeah. For me, it was creating healthy boundaries with my family and my friends. I was very much the people pleaser of the group. And I just recently got married, and my marriage has never been stronger because I am a strong component in my marriage. And for those who are looking for that particular outlet, or like Maggie said, if you're, being sober, all of these, there are so many aspects of what different people are working on that this transformation curriculum will help with, and will help trigger the results in a positive way, that it's a no-brainer as far as we're concerned. Like, we would take this course of our own over and over again, because we know how much the work works. So yeah, no, but we just want, honestly, I think the biggest thing for both of us is that we want to be able to bring people answers in a society that doesn't give us a lot of these answers, because we were searching for them. And it's not out there very much. It's not everyone is doing stuff like this. They're teaching you how to grind. They're teaching you how to get clients. They're teaching you how to create businesses and do all these things. And that's fantastic. These are all great skills to have. But if you are creating all of those things from self-doubt, or from not organizing your schedule, or not understanding how to create a balance in your life, work-life balance, all of this stuff that people talk about the work-life balance, but they don't actually know what it is. Right? Nobody ever tells you how to get the work-life balance or what that means. They just say you need a work-life balance. Well, we're telling you that it is possible, and we've done the work, and we have it for you. So yeah, here we are.
So amazing. I mean, I'm like literally just thinking, I'm like, as you were saying, we would take our own course. I'm like, yeah, I fucking would. And I'm like, I'm not trying to like sell you guys on this.
No.
I am selling you on the idea of it, on the transformation, but it like really is, it's just, we're not full of shit. Like, this work is transformational, and it is to be able to provide this coursework in a container where we'll be meeting with you weekly, and where you'll have a community to fall back on, because change is hard. Right. And that's why, we made it the link that we did, because we want to be able to support you during your first like failures, when you're trying to create change, you fuck up. Right. It sucks to do that alone, because I've done that a million times. And when no one's holding me accountable, I'm like, well, I failed again. So I guess I'm just not going to try to do this anymore. It's like, when you have the community and the container to support you through those first, like, the hot patterns and things that come up, it's going to be so great. So great.
I totally agree. So long story short, we hope that this episode served you. We were really adamant about wanting to do something like this to give you information on a deeper level of what it is we've been working on, how we've been coming up with this, and really what the transformation looks like. And if you guys are ready to join the waitlist right now, it is available. That link is in the show notes, and any other links that are necessary for you, I'll put everything in there. So go through the show notes. Please do this for yourself. We're not, like we said, we're not selling you on this. We are people who were looking for answers at one point. We searched the world wide webs to try to find coaches, courses, something that would help us transform our lives because we knew we needed help in whatever area we were in. And it took a lot of different things to get to this point. And now we're telling you that we took all of these things from two, certified life coaches, from two people who have been through their own personal growth and transformation. And we've put it into all of this in this course. I know that sounds like a lot, but we made it very easy to understand and to go through. And you will have this forever. So you can go through it as many times as you want. And I think that that is the true gift, is that it's from so many walks of life. It's not just one particular circumstance,
Yeah. And I think too, especially because like all the coaches that I have are from different walks of life. And so like getting all those different perspectives, like in me absorbing that and then you having the same and then pulling it all together, it's super well-rounded. It's holistic. It is an answer that we were looking for.
It is. And it's an honor and a privilege for us to be able to give this to the world. Like, I'm excited as a coach to be able to serve other people and people who are looking for answers, to be able to say, wow, I actually have some for you. And they actually work.
Yeah.
Like that to me gives me chills. Like, I listen to coaches who told me I have answers for you and it actually work. And sometimes you're like, okay, I trust you, but do they? And then they did. And then to be able to be a coach like that can provide that now on the other side is just like, for me, that's the full transformation, So amazing. Awesome. We love you all. Maggie, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you and how honored I am to be working with someone like you.
I know. It's so exciting. I've been wanting to create a course for forever. And, as I'm sure a lot of listeners who are running their own businesses, it's like, it can be isolating out here working by yourself. And I'm just so grateful to have connected with you and to be able to create this amazing thing together.
Thank you.
You are just on fire and I'm loving it.
Woo! Timing is everything. And same thing. I feel the same way. So we are here now and we're putting it out in the universe and into the world for everyone to see. So like we said, November 1st is the plan to start. Waitlist is open currently. You are more than welcome to join, and you'll get an email when it's time to reserve spot for a $33 deposit, which we believe is extremely doable. And that's the first little nugget of investment into yourself. And I think that it's a good way to start.
Yes.
So, all right. We love you all. And if you have any other questions, please comment, reach out to us personally, whatever it is, we're here for you. I'll also put the Facebook group in the link. If you guys want to join that, you're more than welcome to start kind of, filtering in there, and we can start answering some questions in there in regards to the launch.
Cool. Sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for listening to the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast. I'm Christine, and if this episode resonated with you or spoke to you in any way, please feel free to share. I absolutely love hearing from you guys and your thoughts about the topics based on your experiences. And also, if there's anything you want me to talk about, just screenshot this episode and share it on social media with your comments. Your feedback really helps me to curate episodes that best serve you. If you have time, I would greatly appreciate if you could leave a review wherever you're listening to this episode, whether on Apple or Spotify or any other platform. I'm wishing you a blessed week ahead, and remember, perfection doesn't exist. Take messy action. Healthy habits keep us balanced, and you are enough.